Hi everybody, my name is Ellie. I'm from the Turquoise Squirrel Patisserie and I'm here today to show you how you can make beautiful separators or dividers for your cakes with a nice and simple, beautiful texture on it, just like this one. You ready? Let's do this. So what we need for our little dividers is obviously a little divider made from styrofoam. I actually cut this one off. I don't know if you can see here with a knife. With that, you run the danger of having a skew one, so you need to really practice that or draw a perfect line all around to make sure it's, not going to make your cake skew. That will be awful. So this is a 4-inch round that's a little bit less than an inch tall. So we need that. We need a spray bottle with cooled and boiled water so we can spritz our dummy. We need some fondant. I've chosen to use white fondant. Then obviously we need fondant smoothers as well. I've got these cheapies. They are really just so great to use, and I've gotten myself some of these which are at a right angle, so you can't ever have dipping in little lips or weird stuff happening with your cakes, because you can't really do that unless you try hard. If you push down, then it's always going to be perfectly straight up and down. We need a cutter. Sharp knife, please. Make sure it's sharp, that's important. I've got a little sock filled with cornstarch so we can dust our work surface. I've got a rolling pin. We don't need a huge one like that, but that's what I've got at hand. And we need, in case there's bubbles, we need one of these little syringes that I like to use. And then on top of... Okay, I'm going to show you my favorite lace mats for this technique, just in terms of, I want you to notice how fine and delicate they are and how much texture and how much detail they've got on them, so that when you can't get the exact one, maybe you know what you're looking for. Okay, so this is literally my absolute favorite lace mat of all times. I mean, look at how detailed it is. It's absolutely stunning. I don't even know what brand it is. Unfortunately, they didn't print it on here. I will check online if I can find it for you, but I ordered this online and it cost me an arm and a leg and a grandma. But I think it served its purpose. I think every second cake has got this lace on it. It's so versatile because each part has so many different textures and elements to it, so you can even cut them up. Love this lace mat. Then we've got this one. It's a crystal candy lace mat and it's got beautiful little florals on it. It works super well as well. Then this one is a cheapie that I got from China Mall sometime. It's really nice and detailed, but it's got a bit more of a graphic quality. You can see how much finer in terms of the design this one is in comparison to this one. And last but not least, love this one as well. It's also from Crystal Candy and it's got lots of detail in it. It's absolutely stunning. So I think, yeah, let's go with, you know what? This one has been used so many times. Let's go with the Crystal Candy mat. Let's do this. Which one do you want to see? This one or that one? What do you think? I think I want to do this one because it's so lovely with all the flowers. Okay. I'm going to get myself some fondant. A little handful is probably more than enough. We really don't need much. We're just trying to cover the sides, not the top of the dummy. Get my dummy ready, have my rolling pin. Okay, let's get going. So again, every time we work with fondant or gum paste, what do we do first? We knead it. So let's knead it. You've probably heard me say this in all the other classes. You're probably tired of it by now. And then I want to roll it into a little sausagey shape, a little log. and a little bit of cornstarch, and this is going to be way too much fondant. I can see that already, but again, with fondant we want way too much rather than too little. Am I right? Oh, shh, that was loud. Let's roll this goodie out. I'm just going to roll it flat up and down first, and it needs to just be the height. So if this was a thicker band, we just want to make sure that the height is right first, and then we're going to roll it out lengthwise. Okay, and seeing that this is such a skinny little tier, we really don't need to worry too much. Okay, there we go. There's an ugly bubble. So let's get rid of this guy. Where's my syringe? So I'm piercing it from the side and pressing out. This way, the hole really disappears quite nicely. Okay, just make sure that it's all the same thickness everywhere. We want it to be about 3 to 4 millimeters. That's absolutely perfect. And then what we want to do is we want to cut off the bottom in a straight line. If you want to do this with a ruler, you're absolutely welcome to do that with a ruler. And then we want to make it about 1/2 inch taller or wider than the height of this little tier. So I'm gonna do about this much, and the top isn't so crazy about whether it's straight or not. Put away the rest of the fondant, and then guys, have you ever had Hubba Booba, that stupid bubble gum? Have you? So what you want to do is start rolling this guy up like a Hubba Booba bubble gum. There we go. Okay, so that's more than enough fondant, and now what I want to do is get my little round, sprayed with a little bit of water all the way around, not at the top or the bottom. So I've got my little band. Now what I want to do is grab my fondant and roll it all the way around and just unroll it. I'm going to just pinch this guy off here at this side and just keep rolling and unroll it and until it overlaps. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut through both layers, get rid of the excess here, peel out the excess there, and there we've got a beautiful little seam. Okay, now we want to make sure that there's no water on here where it can stick, and now I want to get my beautiful fondant smoother, and I want to go all the way around. See here, it's a bit sticky, so I'm going to just add a little bit of cornstarch. Make sure this is not sticky and keep going all the way around. So I'm just pressing it, and what you can do is kind of press out the rim at the top a little bit as well, because oftentimes what happens at the top, it goes in like this. But we'll be able to remedy this, so don't go crazy with this part. We don't really need to make this perfect. It's just a matter of attaching it properly. Okay, now what we're going to do is cut off the top, but we don't need to be super careful yet. You'll know in a minute why. Okay, so a nice sharp knife and just cut in. There we go. Oh, this knife is not sharp anymore, so let's give it a wipe just with a little lappy. It's a cloth in Afrikaans, a lappy. Okay, and cut all the way around. Excess fondant, put it away. And then now here comes my trick. So obviously you can add any texture to this, you can use texture mats or whatever, but honestly I don't think I've ever used anything other than lace mats for this part, and I frankly use this technique more than I use the actual lace for cakes. Okay, are you ready? We're going to grab our lace mat, lay it down flat, Now we're going to take our round and we're going to hold it like a steering wheel. So as if we were driving in a mini tiny little car, we're going to drive this car to Lacetown. And I want to just pick which, you can even take 2 pieces of paper and cover up the top and the bottom so you can see where you want this round to go, because the patterns will differ. So I think what I want is I want to have these beautiful little flowers. So we get this part and we get these tiny little flowers there. So I'm going to just set it down, line it up, and then now you need to make sure what is best is if you do this and you look over it so you can see where it's here and you can see where it's here. And then you're going to start turning and make sure it doesn't go skew. And you're going to put quite firm pressure. And for example, this one will go around quite quickly. So what I'll do now is I'll just show you. I'm going to lift off at this part here. So this is where I'm going to start on this side again, roughly. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's just a rough estimate. And then I'm going to keep going. And I think we are done. And just have a look at this absolutely gorgeous pattern. It is so stunning. So now what we want to do is just quickly see which side is better. Doesn't really matter. Make sure the knife is super sharp and without setting it down yet, because we really want to make sure that we're not squishing the design now in any way. So what you can do is you can get yourself a little container that you can sit this on top of, so you've got better control, but it needs to be a small little container. So I usually find for the small ones, just doing it floating like this is fine. And I'm just cutting off all the excess. Just be careful that you don't cut yourself. There we go, that's the excess done from the one side. Now we can obviously set it down, and now we can make sure we get the perfect top. Make sure your knife is super nice and clean. And now we're going to push in, push in, push in. Make sure that the knife is nice and long and that it lays on top of the surface here, because this way you can't cut at an angle. There we go. And now I'm just going to go around and just make sure that it's all really nicely tucked in, that there's no little fray bits. And usually what I'll do is I'll let this dry, and then I'm going to dust it with either gold or paint it with gold, or paint it with like a luster, because that oftentimes really brings out this absolutely stunning pattern we've got going here. I mean, look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. Love it. Love it. Okay, there we go. That's how I make my little rounds.